What if the cure for cancer already exists, but you'll never see it? What if right now, behind closed doors, billion-dollar pharmaceutical giants are suppressing life-saving treatments, not to save lives, but to protect their profits? In today's video, we're diving into one of the most controversial allegations of our time. Are pharmaceutical companies intentionally stalling or hiding the cure for cancer? And if so, why? Buckle up, because the truth might be more shocking than you can imagine. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on more hard-hitting content like this. For decades, billions of dollars have been poured into cancer research with countless promises of breakthroughs. From chemotherapy to targeted drugs, we've seen innovations in treatment. But here's the catch. Treatment isn't the same as a cure. The global cancer treatment industry is valued at over $150 billion annually. That's billion with a B. It's an industry that thrives on long-term treatment, not short-term cures. And the more you look into it, the more you start to wonder, could financial incentives be holding back the next big breakthrough? The core question here is, what's more valuable to Big Pharma, a cure or a customer who keeps coming back for treatments? The treatment-based business model is one that's hard to ignore. Patients spend months, even years, paying for expensive therapies, radiation, and drugs. Every dose, every visit to the doctor, every procedure, each one turns a profit for pharmaceutical companies. So, what happens to that financial pipeline if cancer is no longer a multi-year struggle, but a one-time fix? The idea that pharmaceutical companies might suppress a cure is not just a theory circulating on the fringes. Whistleblowers, investigative journalists, and even some medical professionals have pointed fingers at major corporations like Roche, Pfizer, and Novartis. These companies are accused of prioritizing profits over patients. Take the case of Dr. Li Qing. In 2015, she made headlines after claiming that a major pharmaceutical company had approached her research team, offering an astronomical sum to halt their work on a promising new cancer treatment. The reason? They didn't want a cure to interfere with their revenue from chemotherapy drugs. Dr. Li is not alone. Over the years, numerous scientists and doctors have come forward, each with a story that sounds eerily similar. Research projects that showed great promise were abruptly shut down. Funding for cure-focused studies mysteriously dried up, and when researchers tried to go public, they were either silenced or discredited. But how deep does this rabbit hole go? Let's take a closer look. To understand the possible motive behind these alleged actions, we need to follow the money. Cancer drugs are some of the most expensive medications on the market. Take, for example, Gleevec, a groundbreaking drug for leukemia patients. When it first hit the market, it was priced at around $26,000 per year. Today, it costs patients over $120,000 annually. Why? Because patents allow pharmaceutical companies to control prices, and in the US, there's very little regulation to stop them from skyrocketing costs. Now imagine a world where a single injection or pill could cure cancer. Companies like Roche, which currently make billions from long-term cancer treatments, would see their profits plummet overnight. And it's not just cancer. The entire pharmaceutical industry is built around chronic illness, conditions that require constant medication, from diabetes to heart disease to autoimmune disorders. If a cure comes along, it doesn't just end cancer, it could undermine the entire system that keeps Big Pharma profitable. Of course, we need to ask the question, is there real evidence of cancer cures being suppressed, or is this just another conspiracy theory? One of the most famous cases is that of Dr. Stanislaw Brzezinski, a Polish doctor who claimed to have discovered a treatment called anti-neoplastins, a non-toxic cancer therapy. His research showed promising results, but instead of being celebrated, he was met with decades of lawsuits, suppression, and attacks from regulatory bodies. Some believe that his treatment posed such a threat to the existing cancer industry that he had to be stopped, no matter the cost. Brzezinski's case isn't the only one. There are other stories, tales of maverick doctors who claim they've been silenced by Big Pharma, their discoveries swept under the rug, their careers destroyed. But why suppress a cure? The obvious answer is profit. But some suggest it's even more sinister, that controlling who gets treatment and how much they pay could be part of a broader agenda of control. It's a theory that's hard to prove, but it's equally hard to dismiss when you look at the staggering amount of money at play. In recent years, calls for transparency in the pharmaceutical industry have grown louder. Investigative reporters are now focusing on leaked documents and whistleblower testimonies. Some of these revelations show drug companies stalling the release of more effective treatments to keep their existing products on the market. Take the example of Keytruda, a powerful immunotherapy drug developed by Merck. While it's been hailed as a game-changer for cancer treatment, reports suggest that trials for even more effective versions of the drug have been slowed down. Why? Because as long as Keytruda is raking in billions, there's no rush to release a better, cheaper alternative. These types of decisions make sense from a business perspective, but from a moral standpoint, they raise serious ethical questions. So, what can we do with all this information? Are we helpless against Big Pharma's grip on life-saving cures? Not entirely. The first step is awareness. By shedding light on these practices, we can push for more transparency, more accountability, and more pressure on regulatory bodies to ensure that profits aren't placed above human lives. But there's something you can do right now. Share this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and let's start a conversation. The more people know about what's going on behind the scenes, the harder it becomes for pharmaceutical companies to hide the truth. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll be exploring more dark truths behind the world's biggest industries, from tech giants to Wall Street's darkest secrets. The cure for cancer might be closer than we think, but it's up to us to demand the truth.